Hey everybody, I'm Mark Hill, senior producer of RaiderZ. I'm going to show you a little bit about the game, give you a brief overview, and tell you what's new, what we're showing here at PAX Prime 2012. First of all, RaiderZ is a free-to-play monster hunting action MMO. What that means, the monster hunting part, it's all about hunting down the big monsters, the big bosses. We don't deal so much in the little minions. The big guys are where you get the best loot, the best drops, most challenging, most EXP, but it's a really intense, really great fight with these big bosses. One of the things that we're showing that's brand new here at PAX is this new boss called the Chimera, which we'll show. It's like the final end boss of all the open beta content. We just finished the closed beta last week on August 29th, and we're going to be going into open beta soon. So what we're mainly focusing on here is on the new content, things that players have never seen before, that's going to be available in the open beta. First of all, we're in this new area called the Great Wall of Silence. You can see the wall in the background over there. It was built to kind of keep this evil out. There was this giant meteor called the Prime Stone that crashed into the Kingdom of Rendell, and all this evil started spreading throughout the land. And so you've quested through the entire game, and now you're here to try and find out why and try and repel it back. That's why you see all the siege weapons and everything going back over there. And that's what you're going to be questing for in this area. However, what's cool about this is these new enemies, these little kobold poachers, and they have these guns, these little rocket launcher gun things. If you go up and you can kill them, and they have the annoying restrain ones too. And there's always a chance that they'll drop their weapon. Like this one right here. See, he's using that gun and I killed him and he dropped it right there. And then I can pick it up and use it against the other guys for a short amount of time, for a limited duration. A couple different attacks with it, and this is what's very indicative of Raider style gameplay. And this is what makes it unique, is you do these boss fights and you do these monster fights, and they're always dropping things on as you're killing them. And it's not just like loot that goes into your inventory, it's things you can actually use on the spot. So some guys will be early in the game, there are these sea boss creatures, and you kill them and they drop their giant mallet, and you can actually pick up their giant mallet and use it. It deals a ton of damage, just like these guys. They drop their weapons and you can pick it up. So your skill bar down here is changed. You have a whole new set of skills and abilities and a weapon for a short amount of time. And that's how RaiderZ gameplay stays fresh. It's always changing. It's always evolving. You're always getting new weapons, learning new abilities and new skills. The best thing about it is RaiderZ sort of classless system. What that means is you can, as you're building your character, this is the skill tree here of the 4 base jobs in the game. You'll choose a base job when you do your go through your character creation process, but once you get to a certain level, all skills in the game open up to you, and you can teach your character any of the skills. So you can create these really cool hybrid builds. You can have like like a hybrid berserker cleric that does a ton of DPS damage, but also has healing spells. Or you can be a hybrid defender sorcerer that can tank a lot of damage, but also has some long range magic too, magic attacks as well. So you can really refine your character to your specific preferences and really build them out in whatever unique fashion that you think is best. Now another cool thing we're debuting here at PAX is the transformation system. There's some items in the game that give players the ability to transform into some different creatures in the land. For example, we will, let's do this guy. So you can actually become this enemy, the little Bonbon Warrior. And again, your skill tray has changed. He has his own unique weapon. You have a new set of abilities, and you can be this guy for a short amount of time. It's for 15 minutes. You get to walk around as this guy. Of course, he has his attacks. He has some cool little emotes, some taunts. I like that guy. And he's just one of many different types of creatures you can change into. This is my favorite. The bunny rabbit. Oh, he's getting attacked. Bunny rabbit has an attack also, a little high kick, but it's really weak for where we are in the game. Do a rabbit dance. That's pretty much all I do in the game, is just turn into the rabbit and dance up on people's faces. So another thing that we're showing here at PAX is these weaponized auxiliary systems. First of all, there's this music and guitar system. You can equip a guitar. So you equip this guitar, and again, my skill trays change, right? It's a common theme throughout Raiders, is your skills are always changing. And your skills are each little notes. If you play the right note combination, you actually get a buff for your character. And then you can rock out a little bit. And then, of course, if you happen to get attacked while you're playing, you can use it as a weapon. And it switches right back to your primary weapon. Now, the goal that we're trying to accomplish with Raiders is to make it as seamless an experience as possible. So you see things like you have the guitar and you're playing it and you get your buff, and then you can use it as that one-hit weapon, and then it'll go automatically right back to your primary weapon. Now, we don't want people like living in the menus and dealing too much with the UI. We want to keep them in the fight as much as possible. So there are little tweaks like that that make the gameplay sort of a flawless, seamless experience. And it stays fresh. It never feels grindy. With your skills constantly updating, always grabbing new weapons. Things like this cannon right here is a really good one. And again, new set of skills. You can aim that one. So regardless of whatever your base job that you picked was when you first started the game, you're constantly picking up new weapons and acquiring these skills and these abilities. So we're not just kind of pigeonholing people down, down kind of a preset path that we've built for them. We're really giving the players the ability to spec out their character exactly as they want. Another cool thing is the weaponized feast system. So there's a feast system in the game where you can set up kind of a little food crafting area, and anyone in your party can come grab a bite to eat from it. This is an example of it right here. So you prepare food. There's 3 different types. There's this one is like the vegetable salad station. There's a meat station, and there's like a big stew as well. And you grab a bite of it. And I have this plate, and you can eat it, and it'll provide you with a buff. This specific one gives you plus 20% energy and health and energy recovery for a full hour. So it's really, really powerful buff you can get. The cool thing about it is that anyone in your party can come use it. So I can set this up, and you can have parties of 8 people, and they can all crowd around, and they can all use these, and they can all gain the buff. If other people in your party have the other types, all the buffs will stack together, so you can all sort of benefit from it before you're going into like a big boss fight or something like that. And of course, it wouldn't be Raiders if you couldn't smack someone with it too. So we've weaponized this one as well. And again, another example of this sort of seamless experience that we're trying to provide to the players. We don't want them to have to always worry about equipping and unequipping or learning skills and mess around with their skill trays. We want them in the fight as much as possible. Now I'm going to show you this crazy new boss that we're just debuting here. But I have to use a GM code to do it, so you guys won't be able to do it anyways. You won't have the ability to do it. My hacks. This is the Chimera. And he's like the final boss of all this, the brand new open beta content. He's this amalgamation of all these different creatures, of all the previous bosses that we've seen. He has tons of different types of attacks. It's extremely fast, really, really powerful. And you can see the world NPCs will actually join you in fights. So if you get in a boss fight or something nearby and there are NPCs around, there are soldiers around, they'll actually help you by joining in. But of course, they just get crushed. And this Chimera boss, he'll do things like he'll grab you, slam you into his fist, he'll slam you to the ground, he shoots fire, he'll fly up in the air. All these different attacks. No 2 fights are ever the same. And that's a good representation of all the boss fights in Raiders, is that they all have these really unique and dynamic attack patterns. They're all products of kind of their environment. So, for example, there's like the poison spider lady boss, and she'll poison you. You'll die slowly, and she's in the forest. And killing them will provide you with obviously the best loot, and you'll get some good stuff like based off that character. So I mentioned the spider lady. If you kill her, there's a chance that she'll drop her poison gland, which you can use to craft a weapon that can deal poison damage. Now you can easily switch between your weapons by hitting tab. You can have 2 weapon sets equipped at one time, and you hit tab to go through it. Now the cool thing I said earlier about being able to equip your skills, being able to learn any skill from any job that you want, is that the skills are all weapon based. So even though you can learn any skill, you still have to have the appropriate weapon for it. So when you're cycling through your weapons, you'll see my skill tray down here, and some of the skills are deactivated. And it's because I have a weapon equipped that's not compatible with those skills, obviously. So I can just easily cycle through it, and now they're all activated. So there are a couple jobs that pair up a little better. For example, the Berserker and Cleric pair up very well because they both use 2-handed weapons. So a lot of their skills are 2-handed weapon based. And Defender and Sorcerer pair up well because they both use 1-handed weapons, and for similar reasons. I will give you a good view of the whole the area. This is the Grand Wall of Silence right here, and this is the wall that was built to keep out all the evil from the Prime Stone. And to give you a sense of where we are, anyone who's played Raiders before knows that you start the game way over here at Broken Mass, and you travel to InGen. So what we've done now is we've quested through this entire game, or through the entire map, and we're way out here at the Grand Wall of Silence at the very end. And this is what's going to be the sort of final area of the open beta when it comes out. This is level 30, level 35 content. The level cap during the closed beta was 25. So all these new weapons, this higher level armor, all these new bosses are going to be accessible for the first time in the open beta. And we're showing them for the first time here at PAX. Of course, we have mounts. Mounts are pretty awesome. This is my favorite one. Love this guy. Mounts can obviously attack as well, and it's another good example of kind of the seamless gameplay. As you can attack. You attack with your mount, so you're just, mounts are mostly for fast travel, but if you happen to run into an enemy, you have that lunge attack. He'll lunge, he'll deal damage, and then automatically put you back in your fighting stance with your weapon and give you a temporary defense boost. So if you just happen to run into a bunch of creatures, you happen to run into a boss while you're on your mount, you can easily deal some damage, get off, be ready to fight, and have a defensive buff. So things like that, these flawless, or these seamless systems where you don't have to go into the inventory, you don't have to manually dismount. You can easily switch between your different weapons and between your different skills. Even with the skills, you see that these ones are incompatible right here. What you can actually do is you can link a skill tray to a certain weapon set. So as you're tabbing through them, the appropriate skill set would come with it. So if I had like one skill tray that was all for 1-handed weapons and one that was all for 2-handed weapons, if I had them linked as I'm hitting tab, all the appropriate skills would come up as well. So I don't have to drag skills in and out of my tray, and I don't have to worry about not being able to use them. They'll all be readily available to me. So I hope I gave you a good overall view of RaiderZ gameplay, and as well as knowledge on the new things that we're showing, which is the Grand Wall of Silence area, the new Chimera boss, the new enemies that drop their weapons. All that type of stuff is throughout the whole game, and it's sort of the cornerstone of RaiderZ gameplay is the big boss fights, killing the guys, grabbing their gear, grabbing their loot, to craft the better gear, craft the better weapons, and progressively make your character bigger and stronger. So we'll be announcing an open beta date pretty soon. It shouldn't be too much longer now, and you'll be able to see all this content for yourself.